You can't judge a book by its cover. While this adage works very well and holds a lot of weight, you can't deny the importance of a first impression. A good cover or a good poster may be the thing that completely convinces you to watch something, to read something, to engage with a piece of art. And especially when it comes to theatre, when you're spending a lot of money to go and watch a show, a good poster can do wonders for bringing in audiences. But with every single West End show currently playing having a poster, this does beg the question we were always going to ask. What is the best poster from a show in the West End right now? There's so many, how are we going to decide? Oh wait, we can go back to this. Welcome back to the Versus Bracket, where we battle things 1v1 to find my winner. And today I have picked 32 different shows currently playing in the West End, and I'm going to judge their posters and find my winner. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do versus brackets and rankings, and if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. But let's dive into West End posters. Now, obviously, if you're aware of the West End, you know that there are 39 West End theatres for a total of, you guessed it, 39 shows. But for a versus bracket, I can only have 32. Now, normally when I'm doing a versus bracket like this, I have to really work around it and play with eligibility. However, this time it was super easy, barely an inconvenience. Currently in the West End, there are 33 different shows playing. One that literally opens tonight, which is great. A lot of other shows are kind of waiting for a new show to come in. Take, for instance, the Harold Pinter, where the Years doesn't open officially until the 24th. So with that, I already basically had the number. Then take away the 2 West End shows that I have personally decided I don't really want to cover on this channel, and I'm left with 31. What did I give the extra slot to? Well, I thought it only fair to give it to Choir of Man, seeing as Choir of Man is only closed for like 2 months at the moment and then is coming back and closing again in August. So those are my 32. We have musicals here, we have plays, and I'm not going to judge them at all on the quality of the musical. I'm not going to discuss the musicals at all. I am solely judging them on their current West End poster. I'm going to try my best to pick like the one they're either using at the moment or like a current favorite. They're going to be as up to date as possible. But with all that said, I have shuffled these around. They are up against random opponents, and we are going to fight them 1v1 and get to our winner. Starting in round 1 with our first pairing, Matilda versus Hamilton. Oh boy, okay. What's really funny about Hamilton at the moment is that I actually really like some of their current marketing where they've had like the silhouettes of the West End performers. I'll try and show them. But obviously Hamilton has a very iconic silhouette. Alexander Hamilton pointing upwards on the star. It's so iconic. It's been parodied to death now. Even in a musical that's only about 10 years old, a lot of people know the Hamilton pose. And it's very ironic that it's been placed against another really iconic theatre pose in the Matilda pose. Essentially, this is me asking, do I prefer this? Or do I prefer this? And it's hard to say, you know? Which is more iconic? I would say Hamilton. But I think there's a lot of really cool dynamic features to the Matilda logo. While they both match up on the posing, I think a lot of the background details really makes Matilda's poster pop. A lot of the lettering in the background reflecting a lot of the stage design. It's hard because I think these are both very, very strong posters. While Hamilton is more iconic, I would say I actually do prefer Matilda's one. So in this case, I'm going to give it to Matilda. Next up, we have 2 plays battling against each other. We have the current tenant of the Trafalgar Theatre, The Merchant of Venice 1936, versus The Mousetrap, the longest running play in the West End. I like the poster for Merchant of Venice. It's one of the shows on here that I haven't seen yet, but you know, you've got Tracy Ann Oberman on there, staring out, very like blank slate. I like a lot of the details in the background, the brick wall. It's very slick, it's very nice. It's what you'd want from a play. Mousetrap has a very long history, and within that history, they've had so many posters. There's a really iconic blue one that I always think of, but currently they've been using this like orangey marketing. It first came in with like the 70th anniversary year, and honestly, I really like this theming. The mouse that's made out of like the thumbprint and the fingerprint, really, really cool and a really great design. A lot of the current posters have featured a lot of the cast, which is quite nice. I'm not overly enthused by either of them. It's hard to say. I think they're both pretty good and definitely stand out, but I would give it to Mousetrap. I think Mousetrap's like that little creative edge that it has to it. I will say that that brings it over just by a hair. Next up, Wicked and Cabaret. Ooh, okay, so if you are more familiar with the Broadway poster for Wicked, it's a bit more like cartoony, whereas over here in the West End, we have a bit more of a realistic looking one. I go back and forth on which poster I like more. I use both in a lot of instances, but obviously we're just speaking about the Wicked poster here. I like it a lot. Obviously, there's something to speak about, like, iconography, and I don't think there's anything more iconic at the moment than the Wicked poster. The soft smile, the red against the green. The only thing I don't really love about this poster is like the weird texture on the cloak of Elphaba. It looks really weird, like the weird highlights. I don't love that. They often riff on it with like steampunk theming and cogs, but yes, very, very strong. Cabaret? I like the current production. And I think it's been nice that a lot of the posters have actually featured the ensemble a lot more. Obviously, Cabaret is known for its like lead casting, and yet every time the posters have been of its ensemble, never of whoever is currently the lead in Cabaret. I like the mystery around it. Honestly, I love the logo of Cabaret as well. The eye that's made up of the 2 Ks and a C to stand for the Kit Kat Club. It's very good, very slick, and really, really stands out well. It's hard to pick because these are both really strong and 2 contenders I don't want to be together in the first round. But I think in this case, the iconic one is going to win it out for me, and I would give it to Wicked. Next up, Operation Mincemeat versus A Lion King. Now, if you haven't seen the Operation Mincemeat poster, take a look at it. If you look at this close enough, you can tell what it's resembling. And I must say, at times that makes me a little bit uncomfy, especially when I'm using that poster on YouTube. And especially knowing that the show isn't really about that historical figure. I know he's a looming threat in the background, but it's not about him specifically. But I do enjoy the design, even if I much prefer the actual logo of it. I much prefer the actual briefcase, rather than including the squiggle as well. Like, you'll notice a lot of the time if I'm including Operation Mincemeat into, like, videos, or if I'm putting it into thumbnails, I always use just the logo, just the briefcase. I love the briefcase of it. Lion King has multiple posters that we can talk about. Currently, they've been going more for their character posters, which I enjoy, showcasing a lot, most of the time, Simba. And honestly, Lion King is a show where, like, that's all you need. The costumes are so well crafted enough that if you get a good shot of them, oh boy, that's a great and striking poster. But even if we're going to forget that and go with the main Lion King logo, I adore it. It's a nice side grade to the original film, and I think really matches that show's vibe very well. I think I would give this to Lion King. I know that there's 2 posters against 1, technically, because I'm taking into account what they're currently using and obviously a lot of the logos that they consistently use for their marketing. But I do think Lion King is a little bit stronger on the whole. And I feel like certain hesitancies I have with the Operation Mincemeat poster just means that I kind of have to give it to Lion King here. All right, next up we have the most recent opening in the West End, literally because as I'm filming this, it's got its first preview tonight. But this is Inside Number 9 versus one of the longest running musicals in the West End, The Phantom of the Opera. Now, while Inside Number 9, you know, I want to give it, you know, more of a chance, but it's got none. I'm so sorry. Phantom of the Opera. I think you can tell a poster is really, really iconic if you get rid of all of the logos and you can still tell exactly what that poster is. And even if you have never seen that musical, you're likely to be able to go, oh, that I can assume that's Phantom of the Opera. I think you can very clearly do that with Wicked. I think you can kind of do that with Matilda. I think you can definitely do that with the Phantom Mask and the Rose. I think it is one of the most iconic symbols in musical theatre. I think it's one of the most iconic symbols in theatre, period. And it's up against the current Inside Number 9 poster, which is okay. I like a lot of the touches to it. I like the logo and like the rabbit in it. I love the theatre theming of the curtains. While I like a lot of these details, there's absolutely no competition here. It is the Phantom of the Opera hands down. Next round, oh boy. Oh, the winner of this has got to go against Phantom of the Opera. Oh, that's going to be a fun second round. Next up, we have Kyoto versus Les Mis. Now, I'm really excited to see Kyoto. Kyoto is one of my most anticipated shows. I've been waiting to see Kyoto. But his poster is okay. I think it works for what that show is going for. You know, it's very striking. But the reason I'm going to see Kyoto is not because of the poster. If you get what I'm saying about that, I don't think it's the strongest poster in the world. I actually kind of prefer what they've got going on the theatre outside, where they have a production shot from the show alongside that. I think that kind of grounds it a little bit more. I like the striking red of it. I love the earth. But you're up against Les Mis, and it's similar to Inside Number 9, where I like a lot of the details on Kyoto, but you're up against one of the most iconic posters ever. And I think the current Les Mis poster is gorgeous. I think it is the best Les Mis poster they have ever done. I don't think there is ever any poster in the history of Les Mis that is beating the current West End one. The colours of it are beautiful. Obviously, you've got Cosette on there, but you've also got like the barricade at the bottom. I love the shadowing on that. I love how it looks. It comes together so well. Hands down Les Mis. Hands down Les Mis. Next up, we have Why Am I So Single? A show that I'm really sad is closing this week, and I wish I could go again, and I'm not going to be able to, and I'm gutted. Versus The Play That Goes Wrong. This is tough, because I think both of them are good. I think the strongest thing about Why Am I Single is its logo. I love the logo design. It's so well done. The bright pink, if you go and look at that theatre right now, and you see like the giant neon sign, oh boy, it looks gorgeous. Oh, it looks so good. And like the question mark with the love heart at the bottom, love that. The poster itself, though, is okay. It's nice. You know, you have a lot of the characters. I love how it puts front and center a lot of these LGBTQ relationships as well. Like if you look at the full poster, you have all of the ensemble on there as well, paired up into their couples. It's nice to see a Western musical, you know, that is all about LGBTQ representation, that has that baked into its core, and also having that be reflected so strongly in the poster as well. And then there's Play It Goes Wrong, which I think has had so many wonderful posters throughout the years. And you know, it's simple. It's simple. It's a white background, you have the text, and you have a lot of the actors on there. And I think the posing is really iconic. I think it really reflects like the slapstick nature of the show. Honestly, part of me even wishes that more things were going wrong, because the current poster is, you know, it's themed around the original one, but I do actually prefer the original West End poster, you know, the falling chandelier and everything. I feel like it's not going as wrong as it could. Hard to say. I really enjoy both. Ooh, I think because I like the original poster of Play That Goes Wrong more than this current one, I will give it to Single. I will give it to Single. And also Single's closing this week, and I want to give it more love. Listen to the cast album when it comes out. Go and listen to the demos right now. That musical deserves better. All right, next up, we have The Tempest, currently playing at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, versus Moulin Rouge, currently playing at the Piccadilly Theatre. Now, Moulin Rouge has some great posters. There's obviously this one, which is just the logo, which is okay. It's fine. It works. They've had, like, the character poster that I'm calling it. I don't think they've done it with the current cast, so I don't think I can count it. But I really love this one. But the current one they've been using a lot is this one. So I feel it's only right to go with this one. This is showing off the Lady Marmalade girls, the girls from Moulin Rouge. I love this one a lot. The lighting in it is really iconic, showing off the neon. I think obviously the love hearts and the shape of that is really iconic to Moulin Rouge and to that set design as well. Obviously we can speak about the logo, which is great, really striking. Love the exclamation mark going into the little windmill at the bottom. It's so elegant. Love it. This is great. And you're up against a Tempest, which I enjoy. I enjoy the post for the Tempest. Obviously it's a lot simpler, but that is more to the style of a Jamie Lloyd production. I really like how they've centered Sigourney Weaver on it. It looks very ethereal, and if you look at photos from that production, you can kind of see it's going for that vibe. I think the soft blue glow on the black is really striking. I like it a lot, but I would say that I prefer Moulin Rouge's poster. Okay, other side of the bracket for round 1, we have Back to the Future versus Choir of Man. The thing about the Back to the Future poster is obviously it's very close to the poster of the original, which makes sense for a musical that is very, 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 very faithful to the original film. And I think when push comes to shove, this has all the iconic imagery you want. You've got the DeLorean front of center, you've got Marty and Doc, you've got the lightning strikes in the background, the blues, like it really, really does pop. It's so vibrant and colorful, especially when contrasted to the orange logo. It is bright, it is flashy, it is eye-catchy. And there's a Choir of Man poster where I really enjoy the vibes it's going for. I think you understand a lot of what this show is going for from this poster. It's a little bit chaotic. You've got like, I think you've got like bar stools and everything from this bar flying up into the air. I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. And obviously I want to kind of give it more points because it's original. But I do think, putting aside the fact that, you know, it's obviously very close to the original poster about the future, I do think Back to the Future is a really striking poster. The colors of it, the pop of it. It packs in everything you need to know about Back to the Future, all of that iconic imagery. I think it's a very strong poster and I would send it to next round. All right, next up, Mrs. Doubtfire versus Six. Doubtfire, its poster is okay. I honestly kind of prefer what they did with a lot of their winter posters. So, I never saw any of these online, so I don't think I can ever actually show you examples of these. But throughout Christmas, I was seeing a lot of posters for Doubtfire that were more reminiscent of the original. There was a poster that was essentially a complete recreation of this original movie poster. But the one that I've seen the most and the one that I'll judge for this video is this one, which is the frock on poster. I must say, I'm not sure why this is the one that they've been leading with a lot recently. I think the original Spotlight one was actually quite good. But I would say this one is a little bit more dynamic with the background and everything. And honestly, I think Mrs. Doubtfire as a character is iconic enough that you can just kind of put her into any situation and it will make more sense. But it doesn't really yell out Doubtfire to me and like the plot of Doubtfire. I don't love the fact that, you know, the other ones that I've seen are more so like a one-to-one recreation, but at least that's more in line with like the vibe of Doubtfire, if you get what I mean. I wouldn't say this is my favorite. And also it's up against Six, which is another one that I feel like that pose and the structure of the queens on that stage has become so iconic that you can kind of just gather up 6 friends and kind of stand in that pop starry pose, everyone doing that one, or that one, or that one. And you'll kind of know, oh, you're going for Six. I love the purple in it. I love the logo with the crown on the top. Oh, it's so slick and elegant and mwah. I think the costumes of the queens look great. I love the Six poster and I would give it to Six in this occasion. Next up, we have the Stranger Things poster. For Stranger Things, The First Shadow versus another very recent opening to the West End. Had their official press night yesterday, so now it's officially open. Oliver. Oliver is a show that's had many, many posters across the years. There was the weird one where it was like Oliver, but it's Fagin's face. And like, while I enjoy that poster, it's never really been my favorite. I actually much prefer this current West End poster. I think the white and the red work really well together, like the brown splatter with like the face, like Oliver's face on it. I like how it centers him a lot more onto like becoming more of the face of it again. I love how that fades into like the watercolor like background, the backdrop of London. It looks fantastic. The work on this is really, really good. I don't love everything about like the logo specifically, like the actual Oliver, like the splattering. I think it looks a bit more bloody than they probably should be going for. I mean, I know Oliver is a lot darker than people often give it credit for. I mean, Bill Sykes as a character, Jesus. But I mean, I could take a lot of that logo and, you know, theme it around like a horror character and it would probably work quite well. I think I wouldn't mind it so much if the splatter was maybe just on the exclamation point, but this is nitpicking. It's little tiny details that I'm using to kind of be like, okay, should I give it to the other one? Because Stranger Things, forget any opinions I've shared on that show, because I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. I adore Stranger Things to my core, but I don't love the play. And I've made that very clear. And I've reviewed it and I've expressed my opinion on that many, many times before. I don't need to go through it again. Watch my review. It's very in-depth. But I love the poster. I think especially for what this play is going for, you know, the origin story of Vecna. I love like the silhouette of it all, like the window, the shadow, it forming into the more iconic silhouette of Vecna that we're used to from the TV series. And also, I like how it feels distinct. You know, it isn't the most Stranger Things poster, and they actually did make a poster that was more reminiscent of like the character posters that Stranger Things has done throughout its seasons on the TV show. So that does exist, but I actually like how it kind of sets itself up in a unique way with this poster. I think it looks incredible. Which is stronger? It's hard to say. Obviously, I've had my little nitpicks about Oliver, but I really do like how it centers that face. And my only real problems are with like a few little splatters on our logo. But I think the Stranger Things poster is really, really strong as well. I think right now, twist my arm and I'd give it to Oliver. That may feel weird with the way I've kind of spoken about them, but I do think, like, forget the logo. That poster is really strong. That poster is really, really good. I absolutely love the design of it. It's really, really well done. And I love Stranger Things 1, and I would say it's very close, but I think it is missing a little something. I don't think it's as dynamic as that logo for Oliver. There you go, that's how I'll justify it. All right, next up we have MJ and Mean Girls. These are two posters that are dealing with very iconic figures. Obviously, we have Michael Jackson, which I think the MJ poster does very well at. I think the little silver sparkle of the glove and like the black silhouettes, essentially, of MJ, I think it looks really nice. However, I said this when they first revealed the new poster for Mean Girls, that forget any opinion I have on that show, the poster for Mean Girls and the West End marketing is elite. It's so good. The soft pink background really works well to contrast against the three figures. It's really striking. It's instantly iconic. I think it looks so much better and comes together so much stronger than the Broadway marketing did, because I feel like that was a little bit too much pink. It was too much of the same color. This strikes that balance a lot more. And also, they played with it so well. Obviously, when they first announced it, they had Regina George with a suitcase. I love how it features the burn book now properly, them standing upon it, instead of it kind of being hidden behind Regina's back. I think that adds a really nice dynamic element to it. It's a really strong poster. While I think MJ's poster is very, very good, I would say that this one does go to Mean Girls. All right, next up we have Titanic versus Tina. Ooh, Tina's had some good posters in the past, but the current one is really, really strong. Obviously, Tina Turner as a figure is instantly recognizable, but I love the design of this one. I think the colors of this logo are so good. Very 80s. It's a very 80s themed poster, but like the blues across her face, the oranges, the reds, oh, it's so striking against that like solid black background. I love the Tina poster. I think I like this one a lot more than like the original poster, the one that's still featured on a lot of like the marquee. I like that one, but this is what I like. I like this. Titanic, I think I would rate it a lot higher if they actually had a West End version of the poster. Like for my review, I literally had to take elements from the poster and take the production photos to make a West End version of it, because we've just got the poster from Broadway, and I kind of wish it did feature our Celine Dion, Lauren Drew, with Rob Houchen and Kat Ronnie in the background. And like, it doesn't seem that hard. Like, I created this, and I'm using Canva. Like, I'm not exactly the peak of graphic design, but like, I put this together fairly easily. I hope that in like a couple months' time, especially if Titanic becomes a long runner in the West End, that they do take the time to give the cast their own poster. But with that opinion aside, I do really enjoy the Titanic poster. Obviously, it's a huge reference to the James Cameron Titanic poster with Celine Dion slapped in the middle of it, which is exactly what Titanic is. It's Titanic with Celine Dion slapped in. So like a poster showing off like the character and the vibe of a show, this did it. It understood the assignment. But you push me in it, pull my leg, and with my personal, like, I really wish it had the West End cast in it, I would say that I enjoy Tina's poster more. All right, we're getting down to the wire. We're almost done with the first round. We have Hadestown versus Doctor Strangelove. It's weird, because when Doctor Strangelove was first teasing itself, I really enjoyed, like, the teaser logos they revealed. The man riding the bomb, I think that was really, really cool. I almost wish that they went with that more and still had that as part of the marketing. Even if they had that, like, I don't know, it's like the giant doctor. Even if that logo was like the D in the doctor, like, I think that would have, like, added an extra element to it, because it's just kind of the guy's face. And don't get me wrong, Steve Coogan looks nice. And, like, I like the red fade into the black, but I don't know, it's not the most striking poster I've ever seen. And especially when you're fighting against, like, some really strong posters. And a strong poster like Hadestown, I don't think there's much of a chance here. Hadestown is a great poster. Again, I think it's less iconic than some of the other ones, but I think the hand and the flower is starting to get a lot of recognition as Hadestown is going on with its run. I don't think Hadestown will have it in it to go, like, the furthest in this, and I think it's been given a very, very easy target, but I would say it's Hadestown hands down. All right, next up, Mamma Mia versus Benjamin Button. Which is my iconic Mamma Mia? Which is the one I'm going to give it to? Benjamin Button. I'm going to justify using the better poster, because I don't like the current one as much. I understand why they've changed it, but the current one is not as good. I think Mamma Mia's poster is quite iconic, but it's simple, it's the bride, it's Sophie, but it's not Sophie because they just took it from a stock photo. And, they do a lot of cool things with it. They theme it a lot. It's fun, like the logo's iconic, but it's not the most striking. And when you're up against Benjamin Button, look at this poster. Look at this poster and tell me it's not absolutely drop dead gorgeous. The blue hues, the greens, the hourglass, the figures inside. It's so striking, so beautiful, such a good poster. It's so well crafted, so intricate. There's so many little details that when you look at this poster, like when I recreated this for my Recreated Poster series, I was like, there's so many little details that you pick up on. Benjamin Button all the way. Benjamin Button all of the way. I don't know if you can see Willow. Willow is starting to sit up. Willow has been sitting here very nicely for the recording of this entire video. Did you notice her? I don't know if you could see her. Oh, she's tired. She's starting to reawaken, so I'm just going to hold her while I review these next two posters, which are The Devil Wears Prada and The Book of Mormon. Now, the thing about these is, I don't think either of these are, like, the strongest of the strongest. Book of Mormon and Devil Wears Prada are both, like, simple logos, very cute, on a white background. Obviously, Prada references the film very heavily, but I like how it takes the film logo and plays with it, makes it a lot more striking. But, you can't deny that it is essentially the film poster. Like, it's not, like, the most biggest new creative idea in the world, but, like, it's a step up. I wouldn't say it's, like, worse or, like, on the same level. It's a good step up from that poster, so you can kind of forgive it. Mormon I enjoy. I think some of the current posters have been okay, but I've never really been overly fussed with the poster of Mormon. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Which is stronger? I think I would give it to Prada. Would you agree, Willow?
If I say yes, can you put me down, please?
I think she agrees. All right, everyone say goodbye to Willow. This is her cameo over. Mwah, love you. And with the first round done, we can now go through the rest of the posters a lot quicker, speed run, and find our winner. First up, Matilda versus Mousetrap. Oh, okay. I think Matilda's very iconic. I really love a lot of the creative details of Mousetrap. Ooh, it's hard. It's close. I'm going to give it to Matilda. Wicked versus Lion King is a rude pairing because these are both really, really strong. But I would say I think Wicked is a little bit more iconic. I think the Lion King logo is really, really strong. And obviously, I love how they use a lot of their cast, but I do think I would give it to Wicked. This is the rudest one. This is the worst one. How dare you, Phantom of the Opera versus Les Mis. This is like finale quality. That's not fair. If you're pushing me on it, while I think the Phantom of the Opera poster is so iconic, they don't need to change it ever. It's so well done, so well crafted. I think the touches on the current Les Mis poster is what's going to push it up for me. Like, I think I can't I can't forget that the current Les Mis poster is the strongest Les Mis poster in the entire history of the show. Like, it's so strong. I can't undersell that. I'm going to give it to Les Mis. It's a tough decision. It's hard. And I wish I could send them both through, but I do think when I'm looking at just these two posters in front of me, I would say Les Mis. YMS Single versus Moulin Rouge. While I do really enjoy the YMS Single poster, I do think the Moulin Rouge one is a bit more striking. Back to the Future versus 6 was a difficult one because I would say the Back to the Future poster pops more, but is less original. And the 6th one obviously is very iconic. The posing of it looks great. I love the purple coloring of it and how it features like those iconic costumes and everything. You know what? People, you may disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine. But I'm actually going to say Back to the Future here. I just think the way that poster pops, the way it refines a lot of the things from the original poster, I think it's really, really good. And while I love 6, and I can't believe Back to the Future is ranking higher than 6 on a ranking bracket, but this is just how the cookie's crumbling today. Oliver versus Mean Girls. You also may be surprised, but I think I would give this one to Mean Girls. I'm not lying when I say that is a really strong poster. Really, really slick, really effective. While I do love the Oliver one and a lot of the creative touches of it, I do think Mean Girls beats it out by a little bit. Tina versus Hadestown. Ooh, I mean, that Tina poster is really, really good. Like, you can't deny it. The colors of it, really striking. It really puts like Tina Turner front and center onto that in a really dynamic way. I think it's such a big improvement on that original poster. It's so good. And Hadestown is great. I love the Hadestown poster. And do not get me wrong when I eventually do give this to Tina, but I do think there's probably like, there's another poster to come from Hadestown. I don't know if you get this, but like, I feel like there's a refinement. I feel like there's something they're going to play with soon with a Hadestown poster, and that's going to be, you're going to point to that and go, that's the one. Like Les Mis. Les Mis has had that logo for years and years upon years, and has now come out with like the pinnacle of Les Mis poster. I still feel like we're going to get there with Hadestown. I love that poster a lot, and I love the iconic flower. I love the carnation in the hand. I love how that represents a lot of the vibes of Hadestown, but I would actually say I'm giving it to Tina. And Benjamin Button vs. Devil Wears Prada is not even a competition at all. While I do like the slickness of Prada, it's absolutely Benjamin Button. Now, come on now. Okay, round 3. Matilda versus Wicked. Would it be a crime if I said Matilda? Would it be a crime if I said Matilda? I think Matilda's a bit more dynamic. I don't know if people agree with that, but I just think it's a little bit more dynamic. I think the things in the background just help Matilda and like pop on that poster. And while I do enjoy the Wicked UK one, I feel like some of the background details are often not always put on, and especially in the one that I'm currently judging it against, there's not a lot of background details in there. I like it. I'm going to use the little nitpick though. I think that's going to be the only thing that I don't really like the fabric, the weird design of like Elphaba's gown on that. And I think Matilda's just a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more cool. I'm going to go with Matilda. I don't know if I feel I'm going to go with it. Les Mis versus Moulin Rouge. Now, I know I've said that Les Mis, this poster is the pinnacle, but that doesn't mean Moulin Rouge isn't tough competition, because I do love that poster, the love heart, the striking lighting, especially when we're thinking about the logo specifically of Moulin Rouge. Like, that on its own, it's so strong. It's tough, but I do think, nonetheless, Les Mis wins it for me. I do think Les Mis wins it for me. And the other side, Back to the Future versus Mean Girls. I love how these two are across the street from each other and they're battling against each other. Which side of the street wins it for me? I think the side with the Savoy wins it for me. I think the Mean Girls poster is so good. I'm sending that through to the semi-finals. And Tina versus Benjamin Button is an interesting pairing, an interesting competition. And what's going to win it out for me? I think Tina's got very far in here, and I think you should be very proud of how far it's gotten. That is a good poster, but I do love the Benjamin Button one a lot. I think I would give it to Benjamin Button. It's just so good. It's so sparkly and beautiful and mwah. All right, semi-finals. Okay, Matilda versus Les Mis. I mean, That poster is so good. The bright glow, the letters in the background, the pop of it all. I really like how it's not like a full silhouette of Matilda. You can see features of her face. You can see details of the outfit. I think the pose is so iconic. I think it's so, so good. And as Matilda has gone on in the West End, they've refined and refined this poster again. And I think we've ended with this poster that is so, so good. And I'd say very similar things about Les Mis. They've had so many posters throughout the years. And this is one of the best ones they've had. The blue at the top fading into the red. The bright dawn coming up behind the barricade. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but like even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise, and the sun rising on the background of the boys in the barricade. Oh, and like the red flag flying with the iconic Cosette up in the sky. It's so good. It's so strong. I think it has to be Les Mis. I think it has to be the Les Mis poster. I think it's so good. And Mean Girls versus Benjamin Button. I think the poster for Benjamin Button just has so many details about it that I absolutely adore. The moon at the top, the sea at the bottom, the moon and the sea falling in love is such a big theme in that musical, and each one is reflected by the two characters, by Eloin and Benjamin, trying to reach each other in that hourglass, the theming of time coming out with it, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks stunning. The silver swirl twirling around them, the stars that you can see in that, the hourglass itself, and then behind it, the wooden panels on the floor are very reflective of that set and the setting as a whole. Oh, it's so, so gorgeous. And I think the thing is, while I love the slickness of the Mean Girls logo, while I love the slickness of that poster, and while I love how they've refined this poster to a very, very strong element, taking what worked from the Broadway poster and refining it into this, I do think Benjamin Button is stronger in this case. And here we are. We are down to our top two. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting bracket. Now, normally I'm a little bit surprised about like the top two. I think this is very fitting. I think when I was like coming up with this concept, I was like, these two are probably the top two. I wasn't expecting Matilda and Mean Girls to be top four though. That's the biggest surprise. That's the gag of the season. But let me know in the comments down below, which of these two is your winner? Which one do you think I should pick? And are there any posters that, you know, went out a little bit early that I treated a little bit badly? That should have made it further higher up into the bracket? Let me know as I pick my winner. Les Mis, Benjamin Button. I mean, these two are the pinnacle. These two are so good. It's phenomenal work. It's so, so good. And I think whichever decision I make right now, I could go either way on another day. But I do think my favorite poster is currently Benjamin Button. I think that musical is so good, but beside the quality of the musical itself, that poster encapsulates so much about that show. You have so much of the theming, you have so much of the design. I think that poster reinforces a lot of those ideas, and that's why I'm kind of gutted that a lot of the time they're not using that poster as much anymore, but they are still kind of using it, so I will go with it, and I'm making an exception. It's phenomenal. It's a fantastic poster, and that's not to undersell the Les Mis poster at all, because again, I think out of like the 40-year history of Les Mis, this is one of the strongest posters they have ever produced. But what do you think? Let me know all your thoughts on this bracket in the comments down below. And also, if you have any ideas for future versus brackets, please do let me know. I'm always searching for new ideas. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now, and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to jump me a follow over there. As I have other socials and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.